Hello and welcome to my podcast, Conversations with Cornelius, where I, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, discuss, chat and hypothesize on all things from fatherhood, marriage, comedy and everything else in between. From time to time, there will be special guests, but mostly it's going to be me and some regular contributors, including my main squeeze, Noelle Patricia O'Sullivan, aka the wife. So sit back, relax and enjoy Conversations with Cornelius. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Cornelius. We were about 5 minutes deep into an episode there and it got too controversial altogether, and Noelle was like, cut it.
We'd be cancelled. Con would be cancelled.
Well, I wouldn't be cancelled, I would just be in trouble.
Yeah, big time.
I would be in big trouble in Little China.
For anyone who are friends and family, it wasn't about she.
It was all, I can see that magpie. It all started off with a magpie. I saw a magpie. I'm sitting down. Today's the 27th of November. We're sitting in the good room. As you can tell, I'm trying to battle a bit of an illness that I have going on, a bit of a kind of a chesty cough kind of carry on. But I saw a magpie and I said to Noelle, do you believe in the myth or the lore of magpies? And for those of you who do not know what that is, there's a rhyme that Irish people say, and the rhyme is 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, 3 for the girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. So if you see one magpie, sorrow's coming your way. If you see 2 magpies, joy's coming your way. 3 girl, 4 boy, 5 silver, 6 gold, 7 for secret never to be told. And we just digressed. We had a big digression then. But I was saying to you, do you believe in the lore of magpies?
I don't think so. I remember it as when I was younger, and my auntie baby used to be all for them. Hi sir. She could be hi-siring all day, but I don't anymore. Like I probably would go, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy for the day, woo. But if I saw like 1 for sorrow, I wouldn't be like, we're going to have a miserable day now today. Yeah. So
I think it's always counteracted as well if you say hi. So if you saw one magpie and you just went, hello, just give him a wave, then you don't get any of the sorrow.
Did you just make that part up yourself?
That's what I've always believed. That's what I don't know if I made it up myself or have I heard it, but like I always felt that was the way to counteract the negativity associated with seeing an individual magpie. But then again, right, 1 for sorrow, 2 for joy, right, 3 for a girl, 4 for a boy, 5 for silver, 6 for gold, 7 for a secret never to be told. I prefer 6. I prefer to see 6 for the gold. Would you prefer, like, who wants a secret never to be told?
That'd be a tough one, like.
That's burdensome.
Yeah.
Carrying that along.
Imagine a secret.
Yeah, don't say this to anyone now.
Yeah.
But I'm pregnant with a giraffe. Keep that to yourself. Don't say anything to anyone. I had sex with a giraffe there in photo last week, and I'm up the pole now.
Lovely.
With a baby giraffe.
Lovely.
Cesarean. We're going to have to take it out cesarean. Arse first.
Stop.
Would it be long? To be a long birth.
You're reaching there.
I'm stretching, am I? I'm stretching, reaching. Guys, I am sick. I'm ill. Not mentally, although a small bit mentally, all right. But physically sick. I've got a chest infection. I had to cancel the Cocoa Club Christmas party this evening due to my illness. I have been gigging all weekend. I was in Derry. I was in Ballincollig, I was in Derry, and I was in Naul, County Dublin. And
where is Naul, County Dublin?
Naul, County Dublin. It's a little village, smaller than Killavullen, in the north side of County Dublin. And it actually, full on, has a pub, a post office, and an arts theatre. The theatre is called the Seamus Ennis Theatre. Gorgeous little, just a little fucking speculative theatre out in the middle of nowhere, right? And like sometimes you'd be thinking Dublin. When you think of Dublin, when I think of Dublin, I instantaneously just think of Dublin City. I don't think of the county.
I think of Dublin City and then commuter towns. But what not county towns? Dublin. I don't know, but like
the suburbs like Tala and Crumlin and
or even a bit further out that would be, I don't know, don't ask me to name them now, but like you don't think of county.
Would you be thinking about the commuter towns in the likes of Kildare and stuff like that? Like Naas and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's the Selbridge and all.
Selbridge, yeah. I'd be the same, actually. I'd be the exact same.
Outside of Dublin City is the commuter towns in other counties. That's...
And Naul is actually a town or a village in Dublin County. So it's actually legitimately County Dublin. And a sleepy little village.
And how far away is it from Dublin?
So you're about maybe 10 minutes off the main road, and it's about maybe 35 minutes outside of Dublin city.
So is that 45 altogether?
For what?
Like, you said it's 10 minutes off the main road and 35 minutes.
No, about 35 minutes from.
So how does it remain so small? You'd wonder then.
This is exactly it. I was there on Saturday, and I came in and I was like, fuck it, I can't believe this is Dublin.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was really quaint. And so there was a pub there, and there was a pub, the venue, and a post office, and an Apache pizza. But not an Apache pizza, big massive Apache pizza, like a little hatch Apache pizza. You couldn't sit down, you just could kind of go in, order your pizza, and come back out.
Yeah.
So it still was pretty cool for a small village. And their arts centre, the Seamus Ennis Arts Centre, is gorgeous because there's a little restaurant inside there as well. So even though it is a small little village, it has an Apache pizza, it has a restaurant, it has an arts theatre, and it has a quaint pub. I went for 2 pints there. And I liked it. I don't really like Dublin. I don't really like Dublin at all, you know. I would go so far as to say as I dislike Dublin. Do I dislike Dublin? I don't know. Do I dislike Dublin? Do I know anyone from Dublin? Do you know anyone from Dublin? Bar comedians. Actually, the comedians I know are pretty sound. Sinead's a good friend. Sinead's sound. She's from Dublin.
She's lovely.
No,
I do know a few Dublin people.
Maybe
I do know. And actually, the Dublin people I do know are lovely.
Actually, Sinead's lovely. Now that I think about it, maybe I don't. Maybe
like
I don't like. I don't. Do you know what I don't like? I don't like inner city Dublin. I've been in inner city Dublin a few times in the last year, and I think it's rough as guts.
Well, now you're talking about like all the controversy that's like. It leads into all the controversy that's gone on this week in Dublin, and all the tragedy,
the riots
and the stabbing, and
for those of you who've been living under a rock,
I don't think anybody could possibly not know about the riots in Dublin.
Yeah, there was a massive riot in Dublin last week, and all because some lad went into it was a after school care thing and stabbed children, which is just horrendous. Nobody died, which was great, but at the same time it's fucking horrendous. And then because of that, then the whole fucking city erupted, and it was looting, but it was like, it really was the scum of the earth.
It was. Now, come on.
I'm agreeing with you. Like it's like they're like, for example, Foot Locker now, right? They raided Foot Locker. They broke down the doors of Foot Locker. They went in. They stole all the Nikes and stuff. Not one work pair of boots was fucking robbed, I'd say. Inside there. Do you know what I mean?
No, and Arnott's Den broken into as well.
And they didn't take any books in there either, I'd say.
Yeah, and it's just, it was pure
brain dead fucking absolute
idiocy.
scobies.
Yeah, and the poor man, that bus that was traumatic. Did we discuss that? Sometimes I get confused about what we talk about. Or
that's because he was a man of colour. They fucking whipped him out of the bus and
but they beat him up in the bus.
Oh, did they beat him up in the bus?
They were hitting him in the bus, and then they told him to get out of the bus or he was going to die. And then a man helped him, guided him out of the bus and over to the police. So there was obviously a lot of observers there as well, kind of like this fellow. He was helped away by someone. Like he's living in Ireland 15 years or 20 years or something, and like it was absolutely horrendous, traumatized. It's like fucking something you'd see back in the Stone Ages in one of those slavery programs. People should be absolutely ashamed of it. I'm really actually, as I speak now, I'm really livid about it. I didn't think I was as
but you're right to be livid about it.
Such a and then the people that's, it's just, they're coming here, they're not working, they're not taking job, or there are either people saying they're not working, they're living off the social, or there are people saying they're taking our jobs. And then you see somebody like, there's TikTok and it's a fella going, well, I work in Apache Pizza, we've got an opening there, do you want it? No, thanks. They're taking jobs that Irish people aren't taking, that kind of, and they're doing
that's what immigrants have done for thousands of years. That's what Irish people did when they went to England. That's what Irish people did when they went to Australia and America. They took the low paying jobs, they kept their heads down, they built the cities, they built the bridges, they fucking cleaned the toilets, they fucking served
and as well
the
as
food.
that, we also have obviously a huge population of immigrants that have highly skilled professions as well. We're not like,
but I'm just saying, the influx of non-nationals into our country, when that happens, the low-paying jobs is what the unskilled low-paying jobs is what anyone across the globe, when they go to a country, goes straight away, because they're the jobs that are on offer. It's not. I'm not being xenophobic or racist when I say that, but that's just the way it is. Like, and then generally what happens is it's the second generation, their children, who've seen their parents work in Apache or work 2-3 jobs, cleaning schools or working in an Apache or driving taxis or whatever. Their kids then go into the mainstream, and they are as Irish as you and I are.
Yeah, big time.
And those are the kids then that come on and are into the workforce the same as anyone else.
And it's like, but this racket of the Irish went all over the world, but they worked really hard. But there was still there was a reason, there were signs up, no Irish
people. There's a myth there as well. Like, we're a wild old bunch of, like, even Australia now to this day, they don't really like the Irish coming over, because we come over, we drink the shit out of it. We're a parasite. We drink, we fight, we fuck, and we're wild. Like, to be honest, I see a lot of the people that are coming over here now from war-torn countries. They're shell shocked.
They're gentle souls, even going into the Cocoa Club, aren't they? Like,
they are actually gentle. Now, there are always going to be people are going, oh yeah, there's fucking people coming over, they're not being vetted. That's going to be the case all over the globe. That's up to our country to try and do some sort of a screening at some stage. Even if they come in and they slip through the net, if criminals slip through the net, the country still has an obligation to its citizens to try and do some sort of a vetting, even if they can't do it straight away. But by and large, let the people in. There's people fucking fleeing from Palestine, from Ukraine, from war-torn Sudan, Ethiopia, all across the globe, and we've got these fucking scumbags with fucking 6 and 7 players of robbed runners from fucking,
or 2 left Nikes,
2 left Nikes, exactly, and like fucking beating the shit out of bus drivers and setting the place ablaze all over the world.
Imagine those poor guards, and I know we're like, I think I've said to somebody, there's 2 types of guards. There's really sound guards and people who go into the guards because they're really sound. And because they want to help.
And they want to help and they want to uphold the law.
Yeah.
And then what's the other type of guard?
The other type of guard is the fellow who wants to know everybody's business and likes the power trip.
Yeah.
Do you know? So you've got the 2 and you don't know which guard you're going to meet, but you'll know the guard the minute you put down the window, you know which guard you've met.
I did a gig in Knoll on Saturday, right? And a lot of my stuff is about drugs, about taking drugs and about, trying not to take drugs and yada, 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 right? And I do this joke halfway through where I'm like, I'm talking for ages about drugs, and the next thing I just stop my set and I go, sorry, there's no guards in here, is there?
Oh,
and
yeah,
usually
yeah,
that gets a massive laugh, right? And then I go, oh, because these are all jokes, and then that gets another laugh, and then I go, because you have to say. So when I did that in Knoll the other day, it didn't get the response. It didn't get the response that I usually am used to, and I was like, oh, I wonder, are there a lot of guards here? And then when we were leaving, a guard hopped out of the car to get a selfie with Chris, and I was telling you this last night, and he was the bang of a guard who was a power trip guard.
Yeah.
And he was being a little bit dismissive with me, and it was all about Chris, which is Chris's show now as well. But he was a bit dismissive. Yeah. But then he just turned to me, he goes, how's it going? You don't have any edibles on you, have you? And I just laughed it off. Yeah, because I was talking about edibles in my thing, I just laughed it off and left it go. But I was saying to you, like, how do you respond? Like, that's... Like, a guard should never say that to you, not even in jest.
Well, I think, in a way, I think a guard, if you're being real, like, guards are allowed to be people as well. But
they're not allowed to be people.
They just don't know. If you felt that he was a bit of a power trippy guard, and like you were even saying, the way he was sitting in the car,
the way waiting he got out
for you to come out of the venue, like, if somebody normally be standing around the place a bit nervous or whatever, whereas this fella got out of the car super confident, came over all power trippy, you would know, is he trying to fucking catch you nearly? If he's one of that side of the fence guards.
I didn't know what to say when he said it to me.
Yeah.
Like I
and he could have been.
I am a cannabis consumer, okay? I think people understand that at this stage of races. But I will say this. You and I have been doing this podcast since the middle of lockdown. This is the very first time in the history of conversations with Cornelius that I haven't had a bake
Before it?
before. This is the very first podcast.
Oh, really?
Ever.
Usually I'd know.
Yeah, I usually have a little bit of a bake going on. But I digress. What I'm just trying to say about that guy is I don't know. I just don't think you can really be messing about that. If you're if you're a guard.
Well, maybe I just know guards that are friends.
Yeah.
That you could obviously.
Maybe I don't really. I know one lad that I grew up with that's a guard, but I don't really know him very well now anymore. But and he is actually a sound fella. Maybe I could.
Aoife
I don't
Hayes,
know. I don't really know Aoife.
Oh yeah, you
Could
probably don't.
I pull out a J and have a smoke in front of Aoife if she was here at the house party?
I
If we
probably
were at a
shouldn't
house,
have said her name now out loud.
but that's not her real surname. Like, she's married now, isn't it? Isn't she O'Sullivan now? Aoife O'Sullivan. No, everyone knows who she is. Aoife O'Sullivan. But come here. If we were at a house party and I pulled out an old J, if I rolled up a J and smoked it, would she arrest me in the middle of the house party?
No fucking way. She might go, if it was her house, she would probably go, for fuck's sake, Con, would you go out to the kitchen?
Would she? All right, okay. Well, she seems sound. Good out to her.
For fuck's sake, Con. I can imagine that's...
Well, I probably wouldn't either at the same time.
You wouldn't either, but...
No, I wouldn't.
It'd be close your ears there, Aoife.
And also, I have to say, sometimes when I talk, I'm a casual cannabis consumer as well. I'm not in my 20s. It's more for medicinal purposes.
You've never, in the whole time I've been with you in the 10 years, you've never ever pulled out a joint in front of people at a party anyway, so. No. And we're with each other 12 years. Oh, yeah. I'll have a little drop of that. No more for you, and I can't move because my
I can walk over to you. Don't pour it all out.
Pour my coffee, please.
1 second now, lads. I'm
have
just
a domestic over the coffee pot.
Lovely. Pour that in there.
Oh, that sounds like a little tribble of a weekly.
I'm
getting a new coffee machine for my birthday off my siblings. If everyone wants to hear that.
Noella's turning 40 in a couple of weeks' time. Guys, she's turning 40.
We talked about that last week.
Yeah, we did. But what else is going on?
I feel like this is a Patreon podcast.
No.
No?
No. This is main because we have to address questions in the Patreon podcast.
Yeah, sorry.
If you're interested in signing up to the Patreon now, guys, please do. We've got a lot of ears on the podcast, on the Patreon podcast. A lot of people saying, yeah, one of the best Patreon podcasts out there. Ever. How was your weekend?
I had a lovely weekend. Great.
Tell me all about it.
So you went on Friday morning, and I tidied the house because I had a child coming over for a play date. So Harvey had a play date. So that went really well, and sometimes play dates aren't really well with Harv, and this one went really well, and so it made my heart full. And then
Late toy show
then the late toy show. So the boys stayed up, and it's gaslight because they had devices to keep them awake, really. And then the toy show came on, and poor old Hunter thought all evening we were going to the toy show.
Oh.
But he didn't. We're going now to the I said, no, it's on the telly in a few hours. But then, sure, he was asleep within 10 minutes once it came on.
Was he the creator?
Yeah, and asleep on the floor. And then Harvey, we both fell asleep about 11 o'clock. I think we fell asleep at the same point. I think I probably looked down, saw him asleep, and fell asleep. And why I say I think is because I had a bottle of Prosecco while watching it.
I have to talk about me nearly getting the shift above in Derry.
We do. We can get to that too.
Definitely. We'll have to... No, because I remember you were sending me on the texts.
Yeah, while you were out gyrating with some girl.
Well, while there was a bevy of hot women cracking onto me.
At least Chris had my back.
Chris had your back, yeah. It was very funny. So I don't get that many admiring glances anymore. Do you know what I mean? I'm
we generally tell each other whenever we get it.
We're boasting to each other, we boast to each other when we get any. And I'm a 46-year-old man. Look, my peak has passed. I'm still in great shape. I'm still very attractive. Every time I see myself in the mirror, I want me. I want to be with me. I want to be in me. Right? But I'm usually just the only person who feels that way, right? Yeah. So did the gig in Belfast in Derry on Friday night, and in the Playhouse, famous little theatre above right in the heart of Derry, the walled city, gorgeous place. And I was dying sick. Chris actually was also very, very sick. But we had...
Was that because you were shifting the week before?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, we were just we were just practicing for you, and he was practicing for Niamh. And we'll see how we get on now. A little bit more practicing to go, and please God, I'll give you an old kiss before the year is out. But we had been saying for ages we were looking forward to going to Derry because it's a night away. We're going to be staying up there. We had an apartment booked, and we were going to go for a few pints. And no matter how sick we were still determined to go for a few pints. So anyway, we did. We went for a few pints, and I'm going to cut the story now short, right? But basically, we were in this bar, right? Upstairs in the bar, and they were serving Beamish in there. Beamish now is a Cork-centric drink. It is extremely difficult to get Beamish outside of the city of Cork. Not to mind in the north part of Ireland. I'm not even going to say Northern Ireland because it's the island of Ireland, Derry. Northern part of Ireland, Derry city. You would imagine that there would be no chance of getting Beamish.
Yeah.
You can't get it in Killavullen, you can't get it in Mallow, you can't get it in Blarney, which is 5 miles outside of Cork City.
Can you not?
It's so rare to get Beamish outside of Cork City.
Wow.
Now. It's a I think it's almost a hipster drink now, like, you know. And then when you
being retro or hippie.
By
Woke.
accident. Well, my dad drinks Beamish as well, like, you know. But anyway.
So you just copy him
So
to make him love you.
Please love me, Daddy. I drink Beamish too. Please love me. So anyway, I was getting the drinks, and we were joined by these two other comedians, Margot and Conal, from a million years ago that I know from a million years ago, and Chris knows them as well. And so I was getting the drinks. I got the drinks in anyway, and I was bringing them up. But as I was up at the bar ordering them, I suppose, how would I describe her? Hottie.
What age was she around?
I'd say she was probably mid to late 30s, right? Very attractive. I would say attractive. That's how attractive she was. She was attractive. She was with two friends who were just as attractive as her. But she was kind of giving me the glad eye. And I'll tell you this now, right? I didn't realise she was giving me the glad eye, right? Because I do a lot of gigs, and people come up to you after gigs going, "Oh, you're very funny," and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So she had been at the gig with her two friends, and they were chatting away to me, and I was in good form. And having a few pints, and I'd been off to drink for most of the month, and I was chatting back, and I was like, "Oh, you've got great." They were like, "Oh, you were brilliant." And I was like, "Oh, you've got great taste in comedians, obviously." You know what I mean? You actually, because like little jokes back, and they were laughing, and I was accentuating my accent. I was feeling the vibe so much up there because I know that they love Cork down there, up in Derry as well. They
Do
feel
they?
it. Derry's like Cork in the north, like. They're the same colours. They're red and white. There's a troubled history between with Derry and the Brits. There's a troubled history between Cork and the Brits. Both cities were besieged by the Brits and burnt, and particularly Derry has had an awful history with them. But there's a kind of a kindred between us anyway, right? So I was accentuating my Cork accent. I was like, "How things, girl? You're keeping well? Yeah, no bad. Not a bother, girl. Yeah." Not as bad as that now, but like not too far off. But like at 11 o'clock, 3 or 4 pints in, half cut, the music is loud in the back.
I'd love to be the fucking fly on the wall.
I was loving it, Noel. I was loving it. Anyway, she was chatting away to me.
You remind me as if it was like Adam Sandler, but it like so it's being chatted up around the place or something.
But I didn't know I was being chatted up, because I didn't think I was at this stage now, to be honest, right? And I was there, and I was fucking feeling... I felt great because I had a good gig.
Imagine if she'd showed the head in.
What would you have done now if she threw the head in and started shifting me, and my tongue kind of went into her mouth then by just out of instinct and started and was there for about 5 minutes kissing her?
If I throw the head into you and stick your tongue into your mouth, you were like, "What?" Yeah. So I would be expecting your tongue not to go in by instinct.
Yeah, but you like, let's say now, if you did it inside in a pub, right, it mightn't be too bad. But sometimes when you try to throw the head into me, it's inside in the kitchen here, and you're after 4 coffees on a Thursday morning and you haven't brushed your teeth yet. There's a big difference. There's a big difference. You're not done up like my fucking little minx above in fucking Derry either. All right. She had the leather pants on, right? She had the high heels with the thin little thing at the thing.
Would you like that up your hole?
I would love it shoved up my hole.
I get a pair. I'll be getting a pair of high heels up from upstairs that I haven't worn in about 10 years and shove it up your hole there now.
But anyway, I didn't know. Anyway, I was just chatting, right? Normal chatting that you talk to. I don't even know how to flirt anymore, Noel. I don't like.
I know.
So anyway,
I know.
You do know. So I brought the drinks up anyway, and there was 4 drinks, right? Margot got a pink gin and tonic with those.
You don't need to go into the...
It's important. The details
Okay.
are important. Margot had a big gin and tonic, right, with pink gin, and Conal had a pint of Heineken, and the 2 Beamish were not finished.
Right.
So I had to let them settle, and I wasn't going to be able to bring the 4 drinks because it was
Right.
up the stairs. So
Handy.
I brought up the 2 drinks to the lads. Totally forgot about the Bures downstairs that I was chatting
oh,
to.
yeah, totally.
Right, and I did, and I came back down to collect my Beamish, and 2 of the girls had gone away, and your one was still at the bar, kind of bopping around, and she was like, "You're really funny. You're really funny. I really enjoyed your show. You're on Facebook, are you?" Because I talk about that, you know. I was like, "Yeah, I am. And then I grabbed my points and I went away back up anyway, and I was upstairs for about 20-25 minutes, and we were chatting away, having a laugh and whatever. And as
Were you feeling like king of the walk now? Cock
I
the
still
walk
didn't
for all
know
the
that this
place?
girl was flirting with me,
Oh,
Noel.
right, okay.
And I'm not even joking with you, right? So then I'm upstairs, we're drinking away, I'm 3/4 way through my pint. At this stage now, this is my 3rd or 4th pint. And I have to go for a wee-wee. Nature calls, as it does. Nature.
I just like, if you were passing her downstairs, did you call it a wee-wee? I was go for a wee-wee. Like a gom to the
So-
hot girl.
I get up and I go downstairs, and there's a jukebox at the end of the stairs. And who's there? Only my fucking minx waiting for me, right? And she's shaking her arse, and I'm going, oh my god, she's very good looking now. Like this is another reason why I didn't think she was flirting with me.
Because she was too good looking for
She's
you.
way out of my league, way out of my league, right? And she's shaking her arse anyway, and then she's
Connie
like,
was telling me the story, and then he was like, when he said they were at the gig, I was like, oh, the stage aura was on him.
oh, I was telling the boys this yesterday as well, and they were all going, oh yeah, it's and Tig was saying, you've got about an hour and a half after the gig before the gig glow fades.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And when the gig glow fades, then like you're just like a normal person. So I was still within the hour and a half when this was going on, like, you know, because I had gone for 2 pints while Chris was on stage, and then by the time Chris was off, we were out and we were having a couple of pints. So we're still within an hour and a half to 2 hours. So anyway, she's down there, she's shaking her booty. Do you know that song by Girls Loud?
Oh, yeah.
That's on, and she's like,
That
she's
would
at
be
one.
her era too.
She's at
Yeah.
one with the music.
Yeah.
She is Cheryl Cole.
I feel her.
I think it could have been Cheryl Cole.
Oh my God.
Right? So she looked a bit like Cheryl Cole. That's how good looking she was now, right? And so I walked down and she's like, I'm so sorry. I can't seem to choose my last song. Could you help me? Right?
Could you turn my dial?
I'm 4 drinks in. I've got a chug. I'm like, yes, I can.
And he
Yes.
was here. I just imagining your little flop of hair now floating around the place like Dumbo with the
Right.
one.
So I'm there.
Suave.
I'm all into it, and I'm like, do you know what I'm going to pick? I'm like, I'm going to put on a Pearl Jam song. I'm going to put on because I love Pearl Jam, and I like, but not a lot of people know Pearl Jam. So I'm there. I'm like, yeah, no bother at all, and I'm trying to be way more confident than I actually am because I'm not confident at all. I'm like, I'm going to play the character here of a fucking confident lad that'll take her back to the hotel and ride her for 9 hours. Right? And
Not the fella that needs 4 hours notice.
not the 4 hours notice, and I don't need a blue pill, right? I can do it naturally for 9 hours, and I won't even shoot the load. In fact, the only way I'll shoot the load is if you say, you can shoot the load now, and I'll shoot it then on command. Do you know what I mean? I'm in full control of my manhood.
So this is the Johnny Bravo.
The Connie Bravo.
The Connie
right?
Bravo.
Yeah.
And fuck it. That's exactly who Connie would be when he's trying to be a Bravo.
A Bravo.
Would be Connie
Johnny
Bravo.
trying to be Johnny Bravo, but Connie Bravo, right? from Ballyclaw. So I'm there, and I'm fucking standing with my hands on my hips as well, because I saw it on YouTube. It gives you an old masculine feel.
Oh, does it?
And I was sticking my chest out, and I was like fucking looking for Pearl Jam. And they only had one album of Pearl Jam on, and it was the Eddie Vedder from the Eddie Vedder solo album from that movie Into the Wild, which is based on a book by Alexander McCandless, which is based on a story by a fella called Alexander Supertramp, who went into the wilderness.
Riveting.
and died
Oh.
of starvation because he
Oh,
couldn't
right.
couldn't look after himself. He actually ended up poisoning himself by eating bad potatoes. But anyway, that doesn't matter. That's not what myself and Cheryl were about. We were about the moment. And so I went through and looking for Pearl Jam, and that was the only album that came up, right? And then I actually love that album, but it's a real slow, like Cheryl Cole was on, and then I went going putting on Society.
Oh, Jesus.
I hope you're not lonely without me. But when I said Pearl Jam, her eyes lit up. She loved Pearl Jam. I was like, oh my God, I think I'm going to have to run away with Cheryl. She loves Pearl Jam because you hate Pearl Jam, like. Well, you don't really know them, like.
I'm not big into music, like.
Yeah. So she's like, oh, I love that song. I love that song. And then she grabbed a hold of my waist.
What? You never told me that
She
part.
put her hand around my waist and pulled me in a little bit closer to her, right? And at that stage, then Chris, I think was Chris either coming up from the toilet or coming down from the toilet, but he was like, "Hi, lad." You cannot see me here now. He was with the tub. Come on, get up here. And I was going down for a piss, and I was like, I'm only going. He was coming up from a piss, and I was like, I'm only going to the Jacks, Chris. I'll be back up in a second. And I put on my song, and I went to the toilet. And then when I came back, she was still waiting there, right?
And little minx.
And she was waiting there with a pound, and she was like, "Your selection was so good, I decided you could put on your own songs." And it was 5 songs for a pound. So she wanted me there for 5 more songs. She wanted me bad. So I put in the pound anyway, right? And I went to put on another song. And then Chris came to the top of the thing and was looking down. He was like, "Come up here, boy. Come up here." And so then I just left and I went up and I was waiting for my song to come on. And my Society. And I was above. But all I could do was tell the lads about how I was leaving my wife and kids for Cheryl Cole downstairs. And then my song came on. And it was time for drinks again. And I went down to help Chris bring up the drinks, and they were gone.
Oh.
Fucking bitches.
Oh.
They had no interest in me at all.
But what about Chris? What, the hour and a half was up from the gig?
The gig glow.
The gig glow. What about Chris going to, like, go easy that boy?
Yeah.
Something?
Be careful there now, boy. Be careful. Be careful. And I said to him, in fairness now, at this stage I knew I was being flirted with, right? And I said to him, "Chris, I absolutely know what I'm doing here. I'm just enjoying
The
being
moment.
flirted with. This may never happen again in my life. I feel 25 years old here, and this may never again happen." And he was like, "Okay, fair enough. Fair
Fairness to Chris.
Yeah.
Chris is my back anyway.
Yeah, so there you go. So then that was it. Then for the next day, I was like fucking just
Cock the walk around
Cock
the
of the
place
walk,
then
man.
without the actual cock.
walk without the cock, is it? Just walk around the place.
Walk.
But then I was getting texts off you with pictures of my boys like being all cute here and stuff like that. So I was kind of quite best of both worlds, getting to see my actual family nice and happy, but also having Cheryl Cole flirt with me after the gig.
Life couldn't get any better for you. Going home then with Chris?
Then myself, and we got a 3-in-1 then. Oh, myself and Chris had a 3-in-1, and it was unreal.
Threesome?
No, a 3-in-1, a Chinese. Like. Anyway, lads, that's the end of this week's episode. It was a great episode. Thanks for listening.
Good luck and thanks.
Good night.